Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to show you why you're struggling coming up on edge on your serve. And be sure to stick around to the end because you're going to see my serve in super slow motion. You'll be able to see the racket on edge perfectly. This is one of the most common mistakes I see. I do about 10 to 15 Zoom lessons, tennis lessons every single week for players all around the world. This is where people send me videos of their technique, and then on Zoom, I share my screen and they get to see themselves side by side with pro technique, and I show them what they're doing, that's causing them to be frustrated, what they're doing correctly, the drills and best practices I want them to use in order to improve. And by the way, if you would like me to help you with your tennis and your technique, footwork strategy, reach out to me on 2minutetennis.net and book your Zoom lesson with me. One of the most common mistakes I see on the serve is players, they know to come up on edge, but right about here, the racket's like this. And I hear things like, I just can't figure out why the pros are on edge and why the racket's open. So here are a couple reasons why. The first is because the grip that you're using probably is not a continental, right? Especially if the racket starts slightly closed. You should go out and film yourself, or if you have any video of your serve, after this video, check out your serve and see if your racket starts with the strings slightly closed. If your strings are facing closed, there's a 95% chance you do not have a continental grip, because the continental grip naturally has the racket slightly open in most cases. Now, if you're one of the 1 out of 20 people who has the perfect continental grip and your strings are pointing down, then either you're Goran Ivanisevic or you're just 1 out of 20 players. But all in all, players who have the racket slightly open have a continental. Players who have their strings slightly closed do not. So when it's on edge, it's a crapshoot of what it's going to be. But have your racket slightly open, and the chances of using the proper continental grip will go up. The second reason is because you're trying to hit a flat serve. Let me ask you a question. What spin is on a flat serve? Right? A lot of people say, no spin. Well, if it's no spin, that means when the ball leaves your racket, you should be able to see Wilson Trinity 2, right? Wilson Trinity 2 going off off your racket over the net. That's not what happens. Look at Sampras and the amount of spin he put on his first serve, his flat serve. Flat serves are not flat, meaning it's not like they don't have any rotation. They have a ton of rotation. It's just not enough in order to get the ball to actually curve a lot. So I want you to first, once you get the right grip, I want you to really think about, I want to hit a slice serve, even on my first serve, meaning I want that ball spinning. Now, you're not going to be brushing along the side, very much swinging off to the right if you're right-handed to get a ton of spin if you're trying to hit the flat serve. But don't try to think, I'm going to hit flat into the ball, because that will lead to you going, okay, we're going to hit flat into the ball. And then you'll go open. You'll often see people change their grip to make that happen. Halfway through their serve, they change their grip so they can hit flat into the ball. Hit side spin even on your fastest serves. One, it'll just make you more consistent because the spin will be correct to kind of tornado that ball back down into the court, where if you put backspin on the ball will actually rise like a golf ball. And the second thing is you actually get the racket to be on edge, so then you can pronate, because the ability to pronate and really crack the forearm and really snap that racket over your hand is just an amazing way to increase the serve speed. So the first thing was the grip. The second thing was make sure that you're attempting to hit side spin. The third is actually you want to practice drills that entice you to bring the racket around on edge. So this is what that looks like. I'm going to toss the ball. I'm going to hit the ball, but I'm going to hit it with the edge. Like I've got an axe and I'm tossing an apple and I'm going to chop the apple in half. So I'm just going to try to hit the edge. And if you swing and miss, that's normal because the racket is thin. If you're struggling with bringing the racket around on edge, practice, and I'm only choking up. I don't know why I'm choking up, but I am. I'm only choking up for the drill here. I would actually be down here when I'm actually serving. But I want you to just hit with the frame so that you're practicing what it's like to actually bring the racket up on edge. So then what you have to do is, just before you hit the ball, your racket's on edge, like you're gonna chop the apple in half with the axe, but as you're approaching, at the last second, just present the strings to the ball. So you'll notice I'm just turning my racket to make that occur, right? So I'm pronating my forearm. So I want you to make the ball think like you're gonna hit with the edge, and then turn right at the last second. I bet you probably think I'm gonna hit it with the edge. And then right at the end, I turn. That's the feeling that you want to have. Going into the waiter's tray, even if you knock off the party hat and your racket falls away from your back like this and the elbow drives up, and like Vic Braden says, don't scratch your back, scratch a friend's back, get the racket over here. Even if you do this, if you've got the wrong grip and you got more of a forehand grip, your racket instantly, you can see how the grip changes where the racket faces. And then if you're trying to hit flat, like perfectly flat, no spin, well then you're gonna just go palm up. And then hitting is gonna go like this rather than like this, which is what you see the pros doing. They make this move as they hit the ball. The racket comes slightly on the inside of the hand and they make that move, tremendous amount of speed coming from it. And as long as you can go out and practice chopping the apple in half, do a couple serves where you just try to hit the frame so you know what it actually feels like to hit serves coming up with the edge of the racket. That's when you're gonna start to be able to really crack some serves, coming up on edge and then turning at the last second to fire. All right, watch me hit a couple serves here and we'll see how it goes. So if you're struggling bringing the racket up on edge, start with your racket slightly open at the beginning of the serve. That'll really help you to get the continental grip, which does allow for a more on-edge approach to the ball. Get in your mind that you're gonna be hitting a side spin serve even on your fastest serves. Sampras, again, had a ton of spin on his first serve. He came around on edge. And then really practice hitting, chopping the apple in half with the axe, and do those drills. Get your brain used to leading with the edge of the racket, and with the right mindset, there's no doubt you're gonna gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.